everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So first things first, I just want to apologise for the horrific lighting. Today's video is going to be my mid-year book freakout video. I have never participated in this tag, but I am dying to participate in it. I actually was looking at my reading grid this morning and I've read a total of 44 books this year so far. This tag, if you guys did not know, consists of 13 questions. At least that's what I found. The first question is the best book that you have read so far in 2023. And I am not going to lie about this, but I don't think I could choose one best book. I've had so many phenomenal reads this year. A Court of Silver Flames. I finished off ACOTAR this year at the beginning of the year and I was obsessed. A Court of Silver Flames has very mixed opinions, but I just absolutely loved Nesta's character development in that book. I think it's so great. You go into that book absolutely despising her, hating her. You spend probably 200 pages of that book still hating her, but you know what? Like, it's so worth it. I've read half, if not one book over half of the Throne of Glass series. That series is definitely quickly becoming one of my all-time favourite series, along with ACOTAR, and I just couldn't tell you how good it is. I've read some amazing romances this year. I've read The Fine Print. I've read loads of Tessa Bailey this year. I think I first introduced myself to Tessa Bailey this year. Lauren Asher, I love. Stephanie Garber, I've also started reading this past year or so. I've just fallen in love with so many books this past year that I can't pinpoint one that I want to say is a favourite. Happy Place by Emery Henry, that blew my mind. I love that book as well. Also, one that I do want to give a special mention to is Fourth Wing. I literally finished it last night. Not last night, 2 nights ago, but I absolutely loved that book. The second question is best sequel that you've read this year. Where to start? This is obviously going to go to Sarah J Maas. I am apologising that most of these are going to be pictures up on the screen because obviously all my books are still in boxes. I don't have my bookshelves here. You'll see that in the moving vlog. It's a whole other conundrum. So any of these 3 by Sarah J Maas, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, or Queen of Shadows. I have absolutely demolished this series this year and I have been tabbing them, as you can see, to like kind of colour match the front covers. Definitely anything Sarah J Maas or in the Sarah J Maas Throne of Glass world. And then the third and final one to talk about, again, Sarah J Maas, House of Sky and Breath. Now, I know a lot of people did not like this book. I absolutely love that book. I demolished it. It was 800 pages. I read it in 2 days. Who does that? Definitely not me normally. And the fact that I did that when I was on placement and teaching full time says all that needs to be said. Next question, new releases that you haven't yet read but you want to. So new releases that have come out this year. So I believe The Final Offer by Lauren Asher came out this year. I am still yet to read Terms and Conditions by her, but I do have the book now and I do plan to read it sometime soon. But I definitely want to read The Final Offer by Laura Asher this year, and that was an anticipated release for me because I really thoroughly enjoyed The Fine Print in this series, so I'm hoping to enjoy Terms and Conditions. And I've heard loads of people say that they loved the Final Offer the most. And then one that came out in June, so very close, and one that was always on my radar is Lore Olympus Volume 4. That's actually getting delivered to me today. Those are 2 that are already come out that I am anticipating reading. The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This paperback has only just come out in the UK, I believe, not that long ago, because I remember it was on my radar, but it was only available in hardback on Amazon and on Waterstones. So I was waiting for the paperback to come out of this book. So I am so highly anticipating reading this. Question 4 is kind of similar. Your most anticipated releases for the second half of this year. Now, bringing this one up again, the third and final book in this series I'm really highly anticipated being released. Comes out on the 24th of November 2020, the 24th of November this year, so I'm so excited for that. But however, I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick it up if it's just come out in hardback. If it's in paperback, I will obviously pick it up, but if it's not, then I won't be picking it up. I'll be waiting. Lore Olympus Volume 5 comes out on the 3rd of October this year, so of course I'm highly anticipating that one as well, by Rachel Smith. I love this series. Like I said, I want to read everyone that comes out, so super anticipated for that one. Also have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. And then finally, my other really big anticipated release is the 3rd and final book in the Knockabout series. I think I might die when this book comes out. I am so excited for this. I've loved Lucy Score's writing. Again, she's an author that I found this year that I just absolutely love, and I have fallen in love with the way that she writes, and I just cannot wait. I feel like Lucian's book is going to be so good, and I know so many people feel the same way. Also, none of these books have ever been released in hardback first, so I know I will be able to read the paperback straight away. I believe it comes out in November. The next question is the biggest disappointment of the year. Now, this is like a bit of a rogue one because I can't necessarily say that it's like a super disappointing one, but it is in my eyes because I brought this book, The Long Knives by Ivan Welsh. I brought this book and I was really highly anticipating reading it. The synopsis sounded so great, and this was just something that I saw in Waterstones and it just sounded really good. It sounded like it was going to touch on topics and be a great book. If you've already seen you would have seen this mentioned in my TBR wrap up as well. If you want to hear more thoughts, I will put a little tag in the top corner of the TBR, Defeat the TBR episode where I talk about this. However, this was just a massive disappointment. The language used in it, I just really didn't like. I didn't like the type of dialect either. Like the speech in it was just really annoying. Also, I feel like the topics that were being touched upon were just touched upon in so, like, such a heavy-handed way. Like it wasn't like, it wasn't embedded in the story. It felt like it was like a rant and an ode to all of these things. And I get it, like I do get it. Like the things that are mentioned in here are serious subjects that are affecting us now. However, the way that it was done just didn't feel very well done. Appointment for me personally, this is going to be such a controversial one. Cookie Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, I just couldn't get through. I've ended up DNFing it and unhauling the book. I'm going to keep Six of Crows because I loved that book, but I'm not keeping Cookie Kingdom because I'm never going to read it. So I'm just happy to say that I finished the series at the point in Six of Crows. That's how I'm reading that series, that duology. And that's the most annoying part to me, is it's just a duology and I can't get through it. And the other one is probably City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I've actually ended up DNFing that book like 3-4 times. Just find it really slow to get into. I'm not sure if anyone else found that. I know so many people love this book, like that book and that series. Biggest surprise, I think, I don't know, there's been quite a few surprises this year. The biggest surprise has to go to Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is because this was not on my radar at all. Then Luke said that he'd seen this book everywhere. And then I said, yes, I've heard people talking about it, but I've kind of like skipped over what they've been saying sort of thing because I wasn't sure. And then I said, like, I'm just not sure because the way that people advertise this is dragons, and I can't say I've ever been dying to read a dragon fantasy, in all honesty. Now this is a very hot take. You either love this book or you hate it. I'm on the side of people that love it, and I'm not going to say it's without flaws because it's not. I really loved the romance elements in here. I loved the dragons. They were super interesting. They had great character personalities. Our main character Violet has such great character development. I do wish we get to see a little bit more of her dealing with like her chronic illness. There is one character in here that I absolutely despise, and by the end you guys will despise him too. I almost just said his name. But we went into Waterstones when we were in Brighton, and I took a risk and I was like, do you know what, let's find Fourth Wing so I can read the description because I'm like interested to see what it actually is and why people are enjoying it so much. I read the description, I was like, I've got to have it. I've got to have it. So I ended up picking it up and I read this, and I have to say I read it in 2 sittings. I was obsessed, am obsessed. I have not stopped thinking about this book. Like, I think I'm in a book hangover. I don't know what was in this, but it was like crack to me. I couldn't stop. And I'm really sincerely hoping that Iron Wing gives me that same kind of like devouring feeling. It kind of gave me that kind of, I can't stop feeling that Sarah J Maas gives me. New favourite author, either a debut or a new to me author, probably definitely has to be Rebecca Yarros, as I just said, for all the reasons that I just said. Sarah J Maas, I feel like is still kind of like a new to me author in my opinion. I know I started reading ACOTAR last year, but I'm kind of going to give myself Sarah J Maas as well because I have just been devouring her books. Also, another one I want to mention is Lucy Score. I've absolutely loved her books this year. Lauren Asher as well, and Stephanie Garber. Newest fictional crush. It's upside down. Xaden or Aiden, however you say it, from Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. He's such like a hurt, king and I just love him so much. Yeah, I love him so much. Definitely a new fictional crush. Another one for you guys. Oh, I don't know if this is spoilers, and I'm not going to mention the book that this is from. Another fictional character, like a new book crush, is definitely Rowan. I'm not going to say where he's from because I don't want to ruin anything, but if you know, you know. Rowan, I love him so much. I also really like, and this is like quite a common, you guys are going to see if you've read all of these books, you'll see the common theme between these characters if you know who Rowan is. Even if you just know who Xaden or Aiden is, then you'll know. The kind of trope I think that I like the most in romance. I also kind of like Jax. I know he's like a really shitty character and he's not a great person, but Jax the Prince of Hearts in this whole like series by Stephanie Garber, I really like him. I think he's hilarious. Like, I think he's like really unfair, and honestly, is he a great person? No. And does that mean that I want that type of person in real life? No, but I feel like he is a big softie somewhere deep down. I feel like he does the things for a reason, but the reason just seems really fucked up until he explains it. I don't know. I love him. I don't know what it is about him, but I really enjoy his character. Then we've got the newest fave character. I think I'm going to go with Selena from the Throne of Glass series. I was about to ruin something then, but I'm going to go with Selena from the Throne of Glass series. I love her character development, and I think that she is it's just such a good series. If you haven't read Throne of Glass, I think you really should. Yeah, I don't know, like I just think her character is absolutely amazing, and I think that you see all the pain and the hurt that she goes through, and I definitely love that about Sarah J Maas's writing, is that her heroes or main characters or whoever, there is always a consequence for the actions that they have, and you kind of see them deal with that. I just think she is a great, like, strong character. Yeah, and just I'm thinking of so many things that she's been through, and I'm like trying not to cry. Like, that's how strongly connected I feel to her. Definitely my newest favorite character, I feel. I do also new fictional cast Xaden, also a new favorite character, Xaden/Aiden from Fourth Wing. I also really enjoy Violet from Fourth Wing as well. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on her, but I quite enjoy her. And I also like one of the side characters, Rhiannon, as well. I love her as well. So like I said, this is not like a infinite list. I feel like there's more, but I just can't think off the top of my head of some of my favourite. But yeah, there's just so many good characters that I've read. House of Sky and Breath, I love our main character, and I don't know, just so many good ones. I've loved all of the main characters in the Knock 'Em Out series. Book that made you cry, I am going to go with, where is my stack? Oh, it's back here. I think I'm going to go with Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas. This book made me cry. Like, the consequences of losing someone close to you was just so painful, and that reality was so painful as well. Another book that made me cry was A Court of Silver Flames as well, same author, but like I said, like both of those books made me pull my eyes out. And yeah, I'm just having goosebumps thinking about it. Like the scene in the mountain in A Court of Silver Flames, if you know which one I'm on about, then you know exactly why I cried. I cried at more than just that scene in that book, but honestly, yeah, it has to go to those two. They're the two that kind of stand really prominently in my mind at making me sob my heart and soul out. Like, I literally had mascara in my eye reading this, and I don't know, it feels like the portrayal of kind of like the feelings of depression was so good. Then we've got Book That Made You Happy. Now, I know this sounds really weird, but I can't really pinpoint a book that's made me happy, because I personally see like most books that I really love make me happy, which would put a lot of the books that I've read this year as making me happy. Question 11, most beautiful book that you've brought so far this year. Now, I wouldn't say that I necessarily buy special editions or beautiful editions of books. One of them I have to point out for sure is House of Sky and Breath. I love the hardcover copies of these books. The new paperbacks are actually quite nice as well, to be fair. Also, I find these covers, the Waterstones exclusive covers of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, these covers are really great. This is a Waterstones exclusive edition, and I think that these Waterstones exclusive editions are super pretty and stunning, and I love the quotes on the ends. However, I would also argue that the original covers are just as pretty. They're very similar, they're just different colours, but they don't have, obviously they don't have the fold outs. I also, like I said earlier, really love Fourth Wings cover. I don't know, it's just different. It's gold. I don't know. I haven't seen a gold cover before. But I did actually bring 3 books from a box. I actually went through to dig for these. That I love. I really love Happy Place, this cover. Like, I love the cover and the sprayed edges. Like, all of that together I think just looks really pretty and cohesive. So I loved this as a whole, and I love this book as well, actually. But yeah, that's one that I really enjoyed to buy, which I never normally do, is the special edition of It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, you might say, like, this is quite a plain cover. I love the gold foiling. Look at the sprayed edges! And then under the dust jacket is absolutely stunning. There's nothing on the back, like the back is just plain white, but the front, look at that foil, and there's a quote on the front that says, "It stops here with me and you, it ends with us." And I just think it's so pretty. Oh my god, it's signed. Then finally, this one's kind of random, but I brought this from a charity shop and I just think it's stunning. I brought this classic Nursery Rhymes that are illustrated by Dorothy M. Wheeler and forwarded by Chris Riddle. And this is like published by Bloomsbury, but as you can see, it's like silver foiled. And it's just super pretty. Like, you can see like Humpty Dumpty up the top, and I just think it's super stunning edition. You've got the mirrored edges, and also like on the inside, I think it's really like precious. These little illustrations that you have as well, I think they're so stunning, and the borders, just everything about this seems really pretty. Final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Now, you guys have seen my TBR size. Like, I have a decent TBR size. I have like 60 books, so obviously there's so many books that I need to read. I really want to get to the new releases that I mentioned earlier on in the video, but a couple that really stand out to me as of like that I want to read in the next month or so is that I definitely want to finish the Throne of Glass series, but in particular I really want to carry out the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. Now that I own Tower of Dawn, I can start this tandem read. I am dying to start the tandem read of these 2 books. That's the way that I've chosen to do it. I've heard that it's way more immersive and you get way more out of the story reading them together because they are set in the same time frame but follow different characters. So that is why I am super excited to tandem read these 2, and I've heard great things about tandem reading. I also really want to read Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher this year, as well as the final offer, so I will be picking up the final offer at some point this year. That is everything for this tag. I have really rambled on in this video. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'd like to see more videos from me, and I catch you guys all in my next one. Bye!